Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Noam Eisenberg, and I will be discussing Charlotte Perriand and her work at Les Arcs. My thesis statement is examining Charlotte Perriand's work for Les Arcs raises the question of how she seamlessly integrated elements such as prefabricated kitchens and baths, the stackable Les Arcs leather collection, and the La Cachée collection to create a cohesive interior that maximized space while preserving the pristine alpine landscape. In simpler terms, in this presentation, I will be explaining those three key details and how they tie back into Les Arcs. Starting off with Charlotte's early life, she had a strong rural and artisanal roots as she was born in central Paris on October 24th, 1903, growing up with parents in the fashion industry. An early hospitalization for an appendectomy exposed her to the minimalist aesthetics of sparsely furnished hospital rooms, which contrasted sharply with the overly cluttered interiors of her home. This experience really sparked her lifelong appreciation for open, functional spaces and clean, modern design. Her mother had a strong belief that work is freedom, which resonated throughout Perriand's life and guided her approach to design, instilling her strong work ethic. Visiting Japan a lot in her early years really influenced her design style, mainly getting inspired by the Japanese craft and design. Charlotte had a long, successful, and active career. She was always fascinated with technology and automobiles, specifically their sleek industrial design, which was a big influence on her use of tubular steel and leather in furniture. Her appreciation for the use of leather, wood, and steel is very apparent simply by looking at these few images of her work. She was committed to the modernist approach of using new materials and industrial techniques. Perriand's earliest independent work was primarily in the Art Deco mode. Although Le Corbusier's reputation frequently eclipsed her accomplishments, her partnership with the modernist architect produced famous designs that prioritized simplicity and utility. She produced organic, classic furniture that prioritized people, drawing inspiration from nature in her aim to balance interior spaces with the exterior. She transformed overcrowded, chaotic homes into modern, functional dwellings, guided by her belief that life's pleasures are only earned through elbow grease. With factors throughout her early life, like early hospitalization, traveling to Japan, and working for Le Corbusier, these elements formed her design style. It was always her dream to design a ski resort as she loved being in nature, and her dad was a mountain dweller himself, which really inspired her to build on a mountain. Les Arcs was built in a mountain area in France, which I can't really pronounce, but it was more widely known as the French Alps area. The 20-year-long project's main goal was to create these large apartment complexes that would blend into the wintry landscape. Her focus was that all residents would have a great view no matter which apartment they were in, so she made sure nothing would stand in the way of that, hence the design of the exterior. Her well-planned open kitchen and living area design invited conversation and interaction among those spaces. She collaborated with multiple architects and the atelier to execute the project. Then the resort was developed by Roger Godino. Throughout multiple years of prototyping, creating mock-ups, and meeting with professionals, she was able to create this village-like feel she felt the mountains had not seen yet. With programmatic considerations of incorporating nature and highlighting the landscape, Perriand really embraced the beauty of the surroundings. The space had 25,000 total beds, which equaled to around 1 million visitors a year. Now, back to the thesis. With examining Charlotte Perriand's work for Les Arc raises the question of how she seamlessly integrated elements such as prefabricated kitchens and baths, the stackable Les Arcs leather collection, and the La Cachet collection to create a cohesive interior that maximized space efficiency while preserving the pristine alpine landscape. Her thoughtful approach ensured that these functional yet elegant pieces complemented the architectural design without disrupting the natural harmony of their surroundings. As stated earlier, Charlotte worked closely alongside her peerless developer, Roger Godino, whose main aim for the project was to make the mountains accessible to the greatest number of people, although not at any cost. He always made sure to remind her of the economic constraints people may have with the effort and motivation to make it more accessible. Godino also made sure to prioritize accessibility in this project in the sense that he wanted a wide range of household financial incomes to be able to partake in this location. After years of being in the background of Le Corbusier's work, Charlotte made sure to break Le Corbusier's linear housing development and rigidity, and did so with the creation of Les Arcs. To this day, it remains the only resort in the world to have been orchestrated by a woman whose vision was decisive to everything from urban planning to the shape of a teaspoon. Now I want to go into comparing these two sites a little bit, as I found it really interesting how after working for him many years, she learned to stray away from some of his approaches, yet with that, some are naturally seen in both. Despite having different modernist architectural philosophies, Villa Savoye and Les Arcs are dedicated to practicality and integrating the building with its environment. With its focus on open floor plans, PLOTUS, flat roof terraces, and enormous windows that connect the interior to the landscape, Villa Savoye is a prime example of Le Corbusier's 5 points of architecture, which we studied in class. On the other hand, Perriand's design at Les Arcs takes a more natural approach, emphasizing prefabricated modular components like stackable furniture and useful areas that directly address the practical requirements of mountain living. Les Arcs exemplifies warmth, space efficiency, and establishing a harmonic interaction with the alpine environments, whereas Villa Savoye is an abstract, sculptural-based investigation of modernism, basically the exact opposite of its surroundings. Perriand's design integrates both architecture and furniture, which helps maximize utility without sacrificing the natural beauty of the surroundings, whereas Le Corbusier has a more experimental formalist approach. Now into the 3 key details. First, the prefabricated kitchens and bathrooms. These were manufactured off-site and installed with the use of a forklift to bring it straight into the apartments. The bathrooms were called pods, which I found was interesting because that's exactly what they looked like. The idea of having prefabricated furniture allowed construction to be sped up, but it did cheapen the quality of the design. The designs were aimed to highlight minimalistic design while prioritizing efficiency and user experience. They were inspired by the idea of breathing closets that were implemented in the design of Villa Savoye. During my experience in Lacoste, I had the opportunity to tour Le Cité in Marseille, designed by Le Corbusier. We had the privilege of touring one of the untouched apartments that he designed, and the kitchens and bathrooms in them were very similar to those Charlotte designed in this site. They were small, simple, and functional. Wood, metal, and colored laminate were the main materials used in the prefabricated pieces. These materials helped provide durability in heavily used areas while also complementing the natural aesthetic of the exterior. Elements like integrated folding tables, built-ins, and smaller than usual appliances were there to allow for functionality and efficiency in a small apartment, helping to promote going outdoors instead of staying in. The Les Arcs leather stacking collection exemplifies Charlotte's ability to blend functionality with aesthetics, coherence in her design for the Les Arcs ski resort as a whole. These chairs were characterized by the tubular steel frames and leather slings, which were an integral component of Perrien's larger vision of modular, space-efficient interiors. Their stackable nature addressed the practical demands of high-traffic communal spaces, while their warm, natural materials harmonized the alpine elements, reinforcing her commitment to organic modernism. There was a good balance between the warm and the cool, with the brown natural leather seat and the tubular steel frame. Overall, these chairs complemented Charlotte's approach to the duality between nature and modern innovation. The Le Cachet collection at Les Arcs embodies Charlotte's commitment to creating interiors that seamlessly blend functionality, modularity, and the landscape, of course. These materials included raw, pure, and natural wood with a contrast of a light and airy fabric upholstery. The collection prioritized functionality by maximizing space and straying away from her disbelief of cluttered spaces. Specifically designed for the Hotel Le Cachet at Arc 1600, this collection featured furniture and built-in elements that prioritized efficiency while maintaining this warm feeling. Perrien's use of simple geometric forms and natural materials helped reinforce the resort's organic integration with its surroundings. Together, these elements exemplify Perrien's philosophy of space optimization without compromising authenticity and serenity of the environment. In conclusion, Le Cachet helped prioritize user experience and highlighting the snowy landscapes by having a very minimalist design, helping to preserve the beauty of Les Arcs. To summarize, Charlotte Perrien's work at Les Arcs is evident of her ability to combine modernist ideas with the natural environment to create extremely practical homes that were also incredibly sensitive to the environment. She created spaces that were functional, flexible, and visually harmonious by combining elements like the prefabricated kitchens and bathrooms, Les Arcs stacking chairs, and the Le Cachet collection. Her strategy reinforced her belief that design should benefit both people and the environment by maximizing space and ensuring that the resort maintained a harmonious relationship with the people. Perrien's avant-garde ideas, which prioritize sustainability, modularity, and reverence for the environment, are still influencing modern architecture and interior design today. She left behind a legacy of groundbreaking work that transformed contemporary living spaces when she passed away on October 27, 1999. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.